What up, cucks? It's your boy, The Hater. Now we're going to do that rant that we were talking about. Why Lucha Libre sucks. First of all, I know what a lot of people are thinking. Oh, Hater, you don't want to piss on tradition. Lucha Libre is great. No, motherfucks. Kiss my ass. Lucha Libre sucks, and I'll explain why. First of all, it's unrealistic horseshit, right? People jumping around all over the place. Now, a lot of times, this does become entertaining eventually, but only in short bursts, right? And only when it makes sense. Consider this, cucks. I watched the match on AEW this week where fucking Rey Fenix did a bunch of things that you did not need to do, right? High-flying wrestling has become dumber and dumber and dumber almost every year because people like Ricochet and Will Ospreay, who are very, very athletic, but do things that you do not need to do, right? When you do extra movements in your shit, right, it's not good. It looks fake, right? So for example, perfect example, right? Rey Fenix, who's one of the good ones actually, Rey Fenix, he's holding the hands of two other wrestlers and he jumps on the top rope, right? Now I'm thinking he's gonna do like a backflip and then fling these guys over, like essentially arm drag them both, right? No, motherfucks. He jumps on the ropes, then jumps on the same rope like 3 more times, just doing tricks basically, just doing aerial tricks, and then falls on his ass on that rope and then does the little arm drags, right? Question is, why did he do those 3 extra jumps? Why did he create more danger for himself, right? It makes no sense. No one would ever do this in real life. You know what I mean? So there you have it. That's why that sucks. Now consider other cruiserweight type wrestlers, right? A lot of people talk shit about people like Tony Nese and, Neville and things like that, right? These wrestlers that have become more and more grounded. Like Neville is like a real wrestler now. He has a high-flying finisher, but he's not out there doing springboard attacks for no reason, right? So these wrestlers at least wrestle like they're wrestlers, right? Gregory Helms, who I mentioned in my last video, Gregory Helms is awesome. And the reason why he's awesome was because he was a cruiserweight that didn't do like flippy shit. He was a cruiserweight that would kick you, that would punch you, that would slam you, and would do cool moves like the Nightmare on Helm Street, motherfuckers. Remember that? Right? Also known as the Eye of the Hurricane, bitch. So there you go, right? These are the good things. This is what makes cruiserweight wrestling fun. It's seeing like a guy like that who is athletic and who is agile, right? Like he's not some slow bitch. You know what I'm saying? He's a guy that can run, he's agile, he can do drop kicks, he can do these things, right? Like he wrestles like a Randy Orton. You know what I mean? Not every cruiserweight has to wrestle like Rey Fenix, right? Furthermore, this video isn't about why the Lucha Libre style sucks. It's about why Lucha Libre sucks, right? Lucha Libre mocks professional wrestling, in my opinion. Forget about this other Jaguar mask. Gives a shit about that. I'm talking about the truth. Lucha Libre pisses on real wrestling many times, especially modern Lucha Libre. I mean like the cruiserweightish Lucha Libre, what we would understand to be Lucha Libre. Because it's unrealistic shit, right? Presented as a fight. Why would people do this? Think about that for a second. If Rey Mysterio and Rey Fenix were wrestling, right? They're both small guys, but they're both strong guys. So it's reasonable for either one to be able to suplex the other one, right? They should not wrestle like they do against each other. Like 2 guys that are 5'3", just jumping around the ring, trying to kick each other and Hurricane Rana each other is stupid. The entire premise of moves like the Hurricane Rana, the entire premise of Rey Mysterio is that he can use the Hurricane Rana into like a Hurricane Rana pin, right? To beat people like Randy Orton that are substantially stronger and bigger than him, right? Rey Mysterio has no hope of beating up Randy Orton, right? Rey Mysterio cannot like punch him in the face like, let's say, Stone Cold could or The Rock could or Triple H could. Rey Mysterio has to find another way. That's why Rey Mysterio is one of the best wrestlers of all time. Because he appears to be the only guy who understands the purpose of Lucha Libre. Or at least the only guy positioned in such a way. Rey Mysterio is so small that even in the cruiserweight division, right? Rey Mysterio is like 5'4", 5'3". Gregory Helms was, let's say, 5'10", right? Gregory Helms is substantially bigger and substantially stronger than Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio, realistically, should not be able to suplex Gregory Helms, right? Gregory Helms should be able to suplex Rey Mysterio. So what can Rey Mysterio do? Rey Mysterio can use Lucha Libre to overcome this disadvantage, cucks, right? He can trip him up, make him fall on the ropes, kick him in the head, do a 619, do a splash, use the springboard capacity, right, to do quick impact moves, right? That's the whole point of springboard attacks. It's not to lay in wait like CM Punk used to do his flying clothesline, which was stupid as shit. The whole point is to do quick moves. Like, Rey Mysterio never lays in wait. The only time is when he does a seated senton and he's waiting for the guy to get up. And that's because the guy's not getting up fast enough. You know? Rey Mysterio, like he does the 619, and then we'll go into the splash immediately. He's not wasting any time. CM Punk's like, come on, get up, you know? The fuck is that shit? It's like AJ Styles, kind of. You know? So, Rey Mysterio really understood what makes Lucha Libre special. Lucha Libre is a way to justify the little guy beating the big guy, right? You could have someone like, let's say, Rey Mysterio versus Kurt Angle, right? Kurt Angle would destroy Rey Mysterio. We all know this. Everyone knows this, right? He would break his ankle in 2 seconds if he wanted to. Now, how can Rey Mysterio win? He can do things that Kurt Angle is not prepared for. He can do things that are unconventional, like Hurricane Ranas and shit like that, and maybe catch him in a Hurricane Rana and pin him, or hit a 619, disorient him, hit a Hurricane Rana and pin him, or a splash. Quick things like that, right? Now, if Rey Mysterio is wrestling another Rey Mysterio, that doesn't work very well, does it, cucks? So, for example, when Rey Mysterio was wrestling Jericho, there was a point where Jericho did this move. He kept doing this move during their whole feud. It was like a tilt-a-world backbreaker type of thing, almost like a business shock treatment, right? I've never seen Jericho do that move before. I haven't seen him do it since. He did it because Rey Mysterio is small and he can do it to him, right? Jericho and Rey Mysterio adapted their style to each other. That's what good wrestlers do. This isn't a move Jericho would ever do to like Randy Orton or even an AJ Styles. He can do it to someone small like Rey Mysterio. And that's why the feud was great, because they wrestled really good matches with each other, right? By adapting to each other. Rey Mysterio can adapt to anyone. And that was, I would consider that to be like a Lucha Libre-esque match. You know, even though Jericho was like a heavyweight at the time, it doesn't matter. It was a Lucha Libre-esque match, right? Other luchadors, right? Like, so if you see like Gran Metalik versus Lisa Dorado, if we ever see that shit, it's going to be people just jumping around for no reason, running to the ropes and doing it. Neither of these guys are like bigger than the other. They shouldn't be wrestling this way. You know? It has to have a purpose. Lucha Libre, from what I can tell, modern Lucha Libre is all about this shit, right? It's all these guys just flying around, doing a dance basically, until one person wins the dance. You know? It doesn't have any reality to it, motherfucks. Now, I'm not talking about other elements and other forms of Lucha Libre, because I know that, for example, Del Rio, right, was like a Lucha Libre guy. He was like Dos Caras or whatever, right, before they signed him. And Dos Caras, I don't know, but if you wrestled like Del Rio, he wasn't doing the spinny, jumpy shit, right? Del Rio has one of the most grounded movesets of all time. Like, Del Rio does things that look real. You know what I mean? So, there is hope for Lucha Libre. I'm not talking just about Lucha Libre. I'm talking about the cruiserweight elements of Lucha Libre and why Rey Mysterio is the best at it. You know, Rey Mysterio does it, it makes sense. Other people do it, it makes no sense, it's stupid. It's there for the sake of being there. And that's not entertaining. Like, if you like that, go watch the circus. You like Rey Mysterio, people like Rey Mysterio, because he does these things and uses them to overcome big guys. You know? Nobody likes him because he does a 619. They like him because he can use the 619 to beat anyone, theoretically. Right? That's what makes him so great. You know? And the fact that he was the ultimate underdog and he had no choice. He had no choice but to do the moves that he did. But when you have a choice, when it's like Matt Jackson versus Rey Fenix, they have a choice. They don't have to like spin around and do dumb shit. They do it anyways though. Right? Because they don't understand wrestling. They don't adapt their styles to each other. That's one of the things about AEW that's like probably the worst thing ever. AEW doesn't adapt styles. It's just two people wrestle. They wrestle everybody the same way. Like Cookie Rhodes wrestles Shaq the same way he wrestles Darby Allin. You know what I mean? Like that's ridiculous. It shouldn't be that way, right? He does the same kind of shit to both. You know? They don't adapt, right? Like Matt Jackson versus Rey Fenix should be very similar to a match between John Cena and Randy Orton. Because they don't have to do this flippy shit. They don't have to put their necks on the line to do minimal damage. Do DDTs, do suplexes, do cool things, right? Rey Mysterio doesn't have that luxury, motherfucks. Doesn't have that luxury ever, right? And that's why he's Rey Mysterio. And despite this, he was able to overcome his size and become one of the best wrestlers of all time. I read somewhere that Dave Meltzer said that Rey Mysterio is one of the most influential wrestlers of his generation or something like that. And for once, I have to agree with Dave Meltzer. I think Rey Mysterio is the most influential. Rey Mysterio has changed wrestling, motherfucks. Not for the better, because these people don't understand what makes Rey Mysterio great. Like Evan Bourne and Ricochet, who probably grew up loving Rey Mysterio, they don't realize why he was cool. They thought he was cool because he did flips. No, he was cool because he did flips to Kurt Angle. He was cool because he wrestled correctly. He wrestled like someone should wrestle. He adapted his style, right? There you go, motherfuckers. That's why Ricochet needs to adapt his style. Yo, like Ricochet versus Brock Lesnar, that should be Ricochet just jumping around, trying to kick Brock Lesnar any which way he can. Ricochet versus Mustafa Ali should be Ricochet jumping on Mustafa Ali and just beating the shit out of him because he's a bigger, stronger guy. See what I'm saying, motherfuckers? That's what I gotta say about that. Lucha Libre is to blame for this, and so is like people like Ricochet, Japanese Lucha Libre, whatever the fuck they call it there, and you know, the X Division to a degree, but not really, because the X Division was all about that. Actually, the X Division is a perfect example of adjusting your style, right? Everyone in the X Division adjusted their style. Daniels versus AJ Styles was a completely different match than AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe, or Daniels versus Samoa Joe. Completely different match. And that's why one of the best matches of all time in TNA history is a triple threat between AJ, Daniels, and Samoa Joe. It was exactly that reason. Because it was a match with three people, they all wrestled each other differently. So it was people quickly changing styles here and there, right? Oh, it's AJ versus Daniels, right? Like more of a fast-paced counter style, right? It's Samoa Joe versus Daniels. More of like a submission-y, like wear-down, beat-down style, right? It was AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe. More of like AJ Styles is out there like dodging and countering while Samoa Joe's trying to do big moves. You know, this like equation made for a good match, you know? But there you go, motherfuckers. That's what I have to say about that up in this piece, motherfuckers.